I feel like my chapter with golf, it hasn't been written. And so
I like that.
With that approach, I still have things I want to accomplish and they don't feel out of grasp. And so I think that allows me to keep my head down and just work. If I felt like I'd missed the boat, then this probably would make me sad because it'd be a terrible way to go out.
Oh yeah, this is not the time.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't feel like this is going out. It's just a pause and a reset, which maybe I needed. And so that's just the way I'm choosing to view it. And it makes me feel like anything's still possible.
Mariah, welcome to the party. I'm so excited to have you.
Me too, Tish. Thank you.
I can't believe that this is the way that we are reuniting right now. I don't know how many years it's been.
Too long.
Too long. And of course, we did it here in the ATL.
Yes.
So I'm happy to be in your hometown.
Thank you. Welcome to my city.
That's right. Yeah, the traffic wasn't too bad. So, okay, we like to start each pod with a little bit of fun and games.
Okay.
And we have rapid fire questions of would you rather.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Maybe.
Okay. Would you rather play golf with your favorite male pro or your favorite celebrity?
Celebrity.
Who's your celebrity?
I don't even know if she plays golf, but it's always been Rihanna.
You know what? She's going to play golf now.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Win a major tournament or a hole-in-one at Augusta?
Major tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Life without social media or without FaceTime?
Without social media.
I think
I need
would
my
die.
FaceTime.
Okay, I would die either way. But okay. All right. Get caught on live TV arguing with your caddy or go viral for celebrating a win with a cringe TikTok dance. That was kind of a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to choose the caddy option. Forgot what that was. But
Are you arguing with your caddy on TV?
Okay. I feel like if the TikTok is cringe, then that means I made it embarrassing. And I do not want that circulating. So I'm going to go with the caddy.
Okay. All good. I feel that. Okay. All right. Be known for your swaggy style off the course or for having the smoothest swing on tour?
Swaggy style off the course because you don't have to have the smoothest swing for it to be successful.
You know what? That's a good point. Yes. And I feel like you're already like really swaggy.
Yes.
That's exactly why I'm asking this. All right. Last one for would you rather. Date a behind-the-scenes baddie who supports your every move or be golf's version of Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird? We love a good power couple, but we love a supportive baddie at the same time. Yeah. That's funny.
Dang, Megan Sue are like, but also to have that support. Tish, I can't do this one.
Okay, all right.
I need them both. I need it all.
Okay, so you're open to both.
Yes.
You're open to both.
Yes.
Okay, that is the answer. That is the answer. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So for everyone who is listening or watching, Mariah and I have actually known each other for a very long time.
Yes.
And we've actually been playing together since we're talking like 03, 04, 05.
Yeah, children.
And I don't even know if you remember.
No, I do. We probably have some pictures hidden in the cut.
Yeah. You're not wrong. And I think it's just so exciting to be able to like watch your career and everything that you've been able to do. So it's really cool to be able to just like sit down and like hear your whole career from your point of view.
Yes.
So we had to start from the very beginning. And I don't actually think I know this journey of how you got into the game. Who got you into it?
My dad.
Okay.
My dad got me started. I was 2 years old.
Okay. Barely walking. Love it.
And let my parents tell it. If he left the house, I wanted to go wherever he was going. So he cut me down some sticks, took me to the golf course and literally let me whack around. And then when I got bored, chase the birds. But it was just like spending time with him and hanging out. And then when I was about 5 years old, like he'd done some work on my swing. And I think he said, she's got a good swing. She's got a little talent for this. Then when I was 6, he put me in my first tournament and the rest is history.
That's wild. Okay, so your first tournament was at 6 years old. Okay,
yes.
Same here. So, one of my favorite memories of us when we were kids, I think we were at Pepsi Little People's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if anyone, if any of y'all even know what that tournament is. I don't even know if it's alive anymore. Yeah. But it was called the Pepsi Little People's. It was a big tournament for us. And I think we were playing together and you were playing U.S. kids clubs. at the time.
Yes.
And basically your driver looked like a hybrid. It looked so small, but you were bombing that thing. And you saw my driver, and I had a cut down men's Adams driver, 7 degrees. And we're like 7, 8, 9. And you and your dad were like, good Lord, that's what you're playing with? And I'll never forget it, because me and my dad from that point on, anytime something surprising would happen, my dad would be like, good Lord. And we started saying that growing up because of you guys.
That's hilarious.
But you and your dad were always like so positive. I felt like amongst our peers in our golf world, I felt like you two had a really like healthy relationship growing up.
Yes, for sure. No, my dad, I mean, sports dads, right? Like, they come in all flavors. He's scary.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that I loved about my dad's approach to coaching me was he was always open to correcting himself as well. And so it's not to say that he wasn't tough on me. He pushed me and we had those bumping head moments. But he was always willing, when he calmed down, to hear my point of view and then improve with his approach to my teaching. And so I think that was beautiful. And I even think of some of my other friends in junior golf, middle school, high school ages, their dads would come to my dad for help on how to control their emotions.
Wow, that's
as a
amazing.
Parent and as a coach. So he was just great.
Oh, I love that. I feel like so many, especially like the up and coming talents, could really like learn from that, like exactly what you just said. So following up on that, who would you say were your biggest influences in golf growing up, your idols?
100% my dad, right? He was my coach. He literally was at every single practice with me until I went to college. So he was so committed.
Wow.
And so I think he's one of my big influences in golf. My mom, who never played golf, but came to every tournament. I remember she'd have her little stat card. She'd keep my score, my playing competitor score. She was so into it. Sometimes she'd tell me she couldn't even follow the ball. And I knew it because sometimes she'd clap and I'd be like, there's nothing to clap for that shot.
Not this
but
time.
She was always my biggest cheerleader. And then on the professional golf side, I really loved Lorena Ochoa.
Really?
So she's my favorite golfer. And I feel like when we were in that kind of middle school, high school age, like that's when she went on that dominant tear.
Oh, yeah.
She was just incredible. So she was my favorite golfer growing up. Had a poster of her in my room, an article that my dad printed out of a magazine. But I would say like definitely my parents on a personal level were my biggest influences.
That. I will say that I don't think I've ever heard anyone answer with Lorena Ochoa.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. I think she doesn't get as much flowers as she deserves. You know, people sleep on her. But yeah, Lorena's the GOAT too.
I mean, she is one of the
You
goats.
cannot play games.
Yes.
So before we even skip the section of childhood, you weren't wrong. And I dug this up. And I wanted to actually bring you these and show you.
Oh, do we have pics?
We got some pics.
Oh, my
and we'll put it on the pod. You wouldn't believe. These are dated in 2005.
Is this Dot and your little brother?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
That's Dot. Yeah. She's also another player on the LPGA.
Wow.
Yeah.
The glasses.
Yeah. The glasses. You didn't play with those. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Those glasses went hard too.
Ginger.
Yeah.
Vivian Aurora.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, this is... Oh, my gosh. Daffodil?
Oh my gosh,
Shelby?
you remember that name? You remember their name?
I remember everybody's name.
You were totally welcome to keep some of those photos. You tell me.
Look at
I would have assumed you would have said Tiger Woods because you're wearing red in all of the photos.
Yes.
Like legitimately, you're wearing red in all of them.
Actually, that's Sunday red.
Yeah.
You can't escape the Tiger influence.
No, you can't. You can't.
The GOAT. And we would always hang out.
We would always hang out.
We were such a big crew. Those were good times.
It was such a vibe.
Thank you for these.
Of course. So moving on, clearly, once you began competing at 6, you just started dominating. And if I have this number right, it says that you won 97 amateur tournaments.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
She can confirm. Okay. Did you just show up and you're like, I'm going to win today? Like,
there was an era of just completely being locked in, right? I think a lot of that has to do with the way my dad approached like my golf development too. So we stayed and he wanted me to be the best at the local level. So I was playing like Atlanta Junior Golf Tour when I was little, Atlanta Junior Golf Association, which GSGA now owns. Once he felt that I was the best there, then we went on to state tournaments, junior and amateur for GSGA, like women's tournaments, junior tournaments. And it wasn't until he felt like I was the best there that we could go on to Southeastern Junior Golf.
Oh,
and
wow.
so then that was regional.
There is levels
yes,
to
so
this.
I think that was why I was able to do that, because he was like, no, you need to be the best here until we can go here. And so I think that helped me rack up quite a few victories.
But I feel like that's like quite the method, because like I can't imagine like the confidence that gives you to know how many tournaments you're winning. And then now fast forward, you committed to Stanford. And I think I remember seeing this is back like Facebook days. I like seeing the commitment and being like so thrilled for you. And you not only committed to one of the most elite programs, but you dominated over there. You led your team to a national championship title. You won 4 times while you were there, All-American as well. Like you crushed it. What was that like, being able to play for such an elite program?
It was amazing. Funny enough, my coach, Coach Walker, came in the same year as me. So she didn't recruit me, but she ended up starting the same year as my freshman year. So I was really going in with no idea what to expect as far as how the program was going to be run. And she was just a gem of a coach. I think she's one of the best coaches there is in college sports. But she was just very supportive, very methodical, but coached us as individuals, not necessarily a team formula. So whatever this player needs to work on, you can do this. Whatever this player needs to work on, you can do that. And I think that that's really important for a coach to have, is individual attention, because we're all different. We all need different focuses in our games. And a lot of coaches just want you to do one specific formula, and that doesn't always serve the athlete. So I think I was able to continue to develop really well under coach, and we had a lot of fun. Like, she encouraged us to be friends and have a healthy bond. And I think one thing that I've learned is if you're in a team, teams that don't like each other can't win, right? You have to have good rapport. And so she cultivated that as well. So when I think about how much I loved like my academic experience, my friends outside of golf, but then also being able to come together under the team and have fun together, like, I just think my 4 years of college, I have no regrets. I loved it. It was just fantastic. And then, you add a championship in there.
Yeah, I mean,
that really seals the deal.
And that was your senior year?
That was my junior year.
Oh, that was your junior year. I'm like, dang.
And it was the women's program's first one. So that was awesome.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I mean, you crushed it. You crushed it during your term there. I have a lot of listeners who are either parents who are very much, they want their kids to go to an elite program. How did you manage balancing the academics and also playing at a very high level?
Actually, funny enough, everybody when I committed Stanford was like, you want to go pro ride? Is that going to be too difficult?
Are you sure?
So I remember being on the plane ride out, and we would go about 2 weeks early just to do qualifying and get ready for fall season. And I was on the plane. And I had I think that was the closest thing I've ever had to a panic attack. But I was like, what did I do? Like, am I going to be able to handle everything? Like, I really freaked out. But once you get started and you have your practice schedule, I realized it was actually easier to manage, I think, than high school, because there was no busy work, right? You got your syllabus at the beginning of the quarter. Every assignment that you were going to have was right there. And so if you had the ability to time manage, then it was actually a little bit easier. It was okay. And so that was my saving grace. I was like, if all you have is papers and exams to study for, it's actually in some problem sets. It's not too difficult to be on top of. And I would say freshman year was probably the most stressful, just because I did a little more partying that year than the other years. I was having my fun.
Good for you that you fit that in. I didn't even know how you fit that in with the training and the school.
I don't know. I was just that was a whirlwind. And I don't know how I accomplished anything. And I managed to do everything pretty well too. But I was just I was committed to one, I want to perform on the golf course. I knew that I needed to invest in my studies, but I also was I'm going to have a college life experience as well. So I feel once you commit to them all, it's just, you just get it done.
I mean, no regrets. Clearly you were living it up. And you did so well that you shot a low score of 61. Is that your lowest?
That is my lowest score, yes.
Can you just quickly walk me through what happened? Did you just make no mistakes, no bogeys?
No, I actually had 2 bogeys.
You're wild for that.
Yes, I had 2 bogeys. And I'm like, that could have been my 59.
Whoa, oh my gosh. 2 bogeys
were the 59.
60.
No, funny enough, I was late to team huddle that day. I hit 3 balls on the range, maybe 5 balls. 3 putts straight to the tee box. So there was no warm up. I was panicked. I think I was staying with my mom at a hotel offsite, and something just happened and I ended up late. And I was like, oh man, coach is going to be upset. We have one rule, that's don't be late to team huddle. But I just had to get to the course and tee off, but I ended up eagling the very first hole. And then,
wow. Oh, that's good momentum.
Yes,
that's good juju.
Great momentum. I hit the par 5 and 2, made the putt. And then after that, it was just like a birdie fest.
Lights out.
By the time I got to number 9 and made the turn, like the front 9 is kind of back away from the rest of like the clubhouse. I got to number 9 up on the green, and all of a sudden there were people there, right? So it was like rumor, like it was already traveling around. And by the time I got to hole 17, there were some professors there.
Oh,
they
no way.
It had gotten
That's
around
crazy.
that I was on 59 watch, which was pretty cool.
That's crazy.
But it was fun.
So do you feel like competing and playing for Stanford really helped you prepare yourself for the tour? Or do you feel like the tour is like whole different beast?
It definitely helps you prepare like game wise.
Okay.
So as far as being able to compete, your skill being there, absolutely. And it just helps you develop as a person too. Like I think maturity wise, I was able to handle like the challenges both on and off the course better. But tour life still is a different beast all in its own, right? Like it's a different process. It's a different approach.
More events.
Yes.
Yeah.
More events, golf all the time, more traveling, living out of a suitcase. It's a huge adjustment.
Yeah. What was your transition like?
Rough.
Was it
no,
rough?
Truly, it was a little rough.
I feel like you did pretty well.
I did.
Out
I
the gate.
played well out of the gate. But I think emotionally, it was more challenging. Like I was playing well. That was fine. But I think that I realized like, as the process of the season was going, I got lonely, right?
I'm sure,
The second year was much better because a lot of like my friends from undergrad and stuff were also on tour by my second season. But I didn't have as many people that I played with growing up out there with me that first year.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm in the dining hall, like eating by myself, like in player lounge. And, you know, that went away pretty quickly. Like you make some friends. But I also am staying by myself. So I'm in hotels most of the time. Somehow I missed the memo on host families. And I don't know if I was asleep at that part of rookie orientation or what, but I didn't really know that that was a thing. So I was staying in hotels, either eating in restaurants or picking up my food, going to my hotel room to eat in the evenings. And like, that's a little bit isolating, right? For a sport that's already individual. And once you're a pro, there's no team aspect to golf. It's you, your caddy,
so individual.
and that's it. And so at the end of the season, actually, I got a therapist because I was like very unhappy. So I reached out, found a therapist to talk about. And then one of my buddies, Jane Park and Mo Martin kind of like adopted me as little sisters out there and are really sweet. And so just gave me some advice on how to just find pieces of home on tour. Yeah. So I traveled with friends a lot and the next season, and I got host families. And I have host families that I've stayed with for like 8 or so years now at certain tournaments. And that really made it a lot better. It's just, you don't think about the fact that it's all golf all the time.
Right.
And so when you leave the golf course, if you can find something that makes you feel like, you know, I've got a little more peace and I've got people around me who care, then that makes you feel better.
So I guess that leads me, like, I'm very curious just because, like, I played professionally for a little bit. I realized it wasn't for me. But, like, for any rookies that come onto the scene, whether it's from the Epson or just straight from college, like, is it truly, like, all man for themselves? Like, they're like, no one bothered when you first came onto the tour to be like, hey, like, this is how we do it. Like, you know, oh, come on, let's go to dinner. Like, or you were like, just straight up.
Yes, straight up. And I think now actually there are rookie pods. So you have some vets that will volunteer to like maybe have 4 or 5 players in their pod. Okay. And you have somebody basically to mentor you and
That's
somebody
nice.
you go to for questions.
That's good.
So I don't think that existed in my rookie. If it did, I didn't know.
Again,
and if I didn't know, then it was on me.
Yeah.
But I think that that's something that I know for sure the tour does now, which I think is fantastic.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because you should have somebody to go to without feeling like you're bothering someone. You know that person volunteered to be there and to mentor you, and that just an open and welcoming space.
For sure.
So that's cool. Definitely necessary.
Absolutely. I agree. I would be so lonely too.
Yes.
So let's talk about some career highs. What would you say is your favorite moment or career highlight since being on tour?
Performance-wise, my career high was definitely 2019 ShopRite, where I ended up T5, but was second place going into that final round. That's my first time experiencing the final wave, final group. And that's just a really, really cool experience. Like the crowd size that you get when you're in contention, that was awesome. And definitely something like to aspire to and to feel excited about. I remember my mom got a flight Saturday night up or Sunday morning, actually, I think, to make sure that she could watch that round.
Yeah.
The text that I got coming in following that performance, you don't realize how many people are supporting and rooting for you until you're in that situation. You realize everybody's watching, everybody's supporting, makes you feel loved.
Yeah.
So that was definitely one of my most fun experiences competition-wise. But honestly, it's also just the moments that I have off the course with friends that I have on tour that just makes the journey special.
Who's your closest friends on tour?
Gemma Driver right now is probably one of my best buds on tour. And actually, PT that I see on LPGA, Annalise, she's also probably one of my favorite people. Charlotte Thomas and Lauren Kim. Lauren was my college teammate, and then Charlotte went to Washington, so we played a lot. They've both since retired, so that's kind of sad.
Little lonely.
I mean,
again.
that happens a little bit too.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely still have plenty of friends on tour, and I'm not one of those people that like only hangs out with a certain amount of people.
Sure.
I have like friendships with a lot of the younger players that are coming up as well. Like I'm a pretty friendly person, so it's easy to build those relationships. But those were like my.
Those are like your girls, your people.
Especially Lauren and Char, like playing so much together. We played Washington pretty much all the time, every tournament, because we were in the same conference, RIP Pac-12. But so that just kind of makes you, tight.
Yeah. So of course, not all the highs stay high. There are some lows. And so how do you feel like golf has been treating you as of late?
The last few years have definitely been rough. I had a blip maybe about 3.5 seasons ago where putting just kind of became a little bit of a mental block for me. And I've always been a pretty solid putter ever since junior golf. And so that was tough to navigate, but it was also fun to fight through. Like, I feel like when you have challenges, you kind of have to embrace them. It's a time to develop a new approach. So I did that, got over that, and then started having various physical issues. So I ended up having some back tightness one summer that I had to fight through. This was like 2022, got pretty bad. And then started experiencing like some hip and upper back stuff. Like I've since figured out like what's going on.
Okay.
But as you see now, I'm in a sling. I actually just had shoulder surgery at the end of March. But it's those little things that actually contributed to this. And so now what I'm hoping is this is going to be probably about a 3 to 4 month recovery process. And so I have time, like you don't really have time as a golfer, right? We talked about it. It's all year round.
Yes.
So when you have those little issues, it's like you want to try to fix it, but it's not like you can stop playing. So I've never really had time to loosen that hip up, work on that glute firing, and do the things I need to do to be a smooth and well-oiled machine so that I'm not using the wrong parts of my body to perform certain functions. So now I actually finally get time to address the whole chain, which I'm looking forward to. And you get healthy, and hopefully that makes me a brand new golfer with no swing issues and everything.
No, that's a great approach.
Yeah.
So true. Like as a golfer, you don't have time. And I think people can argue that like, oh, golf, it's a low contact sport. You're not going to get injured. You're only hurting like maybe tendonitis here or whatever here. But like when that thing adds up and you're off a season, you can completely like lose your status or lose whatever you have. But I think you have such like a positive outlook. Maybe it's just your body saying you need a break. Really, like chill out.
We got some things we need you to work on.
We got to work on some things. So speaking of status on tour, so can you explain to our listeners and viewers like what is your current status right now and how does that work?
Yes. So right now I'm pretty much playing on Epson Tour. So I have LPGA status, but in a class that won't get me into a lot of tournaments. But if I were, so with my LPGA status specifically, with people in my position, the ideal goal for everyone would be to get into a season before the first reshuffle, which typically happens sometime in May. And reshuffle means priority list. And the priority list determines which events you get into for the rest of the year.
Gotcha.
And so if you, before the first reshuffle, can do a Monday qualifier and make a cut or get a sponsor exemption, make a cut, you shuffle up pretty quickly then, and then you'll be playing for the rest of the season until the second reshuffle. There's 2 reshuffles in the season, and each time you just want to climb the priority list. And so that obviously can't do this year because I won't be able to play any of those spring LPGA events. But as soon as I'm healed and doctor clears me to go compete and swing fully again, then I'd be playing Epson. And so the route for Epson, You can top 10, I think actually now top 15, and earn LPGA status for the following season. So it's basically Korn Ferry for the women's tour.
Yes.
Top 15 for us, you get LPGA status. And then we still have on the women's tour qualifying series. And so the last resort then would be to go to second stage. I would start there, play in Venice, qualify, and then go play the later two events in Alabama and get your tour card that way. So there's
a few different
avenues.
Routes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So since you are injured right now, in a perfect world, what would be your path when you get better, and when would you like to start competing again?
Yes. I would hope to start competing end of July, early August.
Of this year?
Of this year.
Okay,
hopefully, yes. So
that's a comeback.
Yes. That gives about a 4-month period. And so obviously, it'll just be getting back into the swing of things for a while. So I think it's probably a little too late at that point to go the Epson route unless you get a couple victories very quickly, which is not impossible. But at that point, the points list for Epson Tour is pretty solidified. But what I'd want to do is compete, play, work as much with my coach as possible, get ready, and be ready for second stage.
Got it.
Our second, stage 2 of Q Series down in Venice and be able to play for the card through that way.
Got it. And so then by next year, best case scenario, you just be back in a better situation with the LPGA.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Yeah.
Man, what a grind.
I'm telling you.
It is such a grind. It is not easy. I think when I was talking to Cheyenne and Angel, we were just talking about the difficulty of it's such a win to be on the tour, but to keep yourself on the tour and to be healthy, both mentally, physically, everything, that is a whole different ballgame in itself. And I just can't imagine the emotional roller coaster that you must go through, which it leads to the next question is, how are you mentally?
I think right now, mentally, I'm feeling really solid. And feeling optimistic. When you battle through stuff where you just don't feel physically 100%, that becomes aware mentally. I would say the strongest part of my golf game has always been my ball striking. But once my body wasn't loose enough, once my body wasn't strong enough in certain areas, there's no consistency there anymore. And so that was a struggle as well. So I think right now I just feel hopeful, which makes me feel mentally sound because I have an opportunity to course correct, work on these things, and hopefully come out better than I was before. So that's where I am right now.
So as we know, as being a professional athlete, you're juggling a lot of things. It's not just mental and it's not just physical, but you also got the marketing side of things. You have your sponsors. You have to show up to your shoots and whatnot. How do you juggle that part of things?
Yeah. That part is actually, I view that for me, the fun part of the job, right?
Good. I'm glad you think so. I feel like some players think it's kind of like a burden, takes away from the game. But no, that's so good to hear.
I don't view it as all, listen, my sponsors make it possible for me to play the game. Look at me right now. I'm not able to compete, which means I'm not making money on the course. But I have my sponsors to be able to rely on financially to get me through this part of the journey. Not only do I find it enjoyable, it's this is what I do to say thank you, right? It's obviously it's part of the contract, but for me, it's also a thank you. My sponsors use me a lot for client interaction and things like that. And I enjoy that. I think the part of me that, if didn't play golf, probably would have gone to the corporate world. I enjoy being in that space and just seeing what that side of life is like and getting to interact with people in different spheres. I find that enriching. And I don't get that on the golf course. Maybe in the pro-ams, but that's just about it.
That's true. That's the easy stuff. That's the easy stuff for you. You got to hit a couple shots and smile. That's the easy stuff. Can't even complain about that. So your sponsors, through your injuries and, any setbacks, they just ride with you.
Yes, they've been riding. And I'm incredibly grateful. Right? I've got a great team around me. It's a blessing and I'm thankful for it. So when they need me to show up, I show up fully and happy to do so.
I love that. I think that's always a fear, right? I could lose everything if I say too much or if I get hurt. And so I love that your people are right behind you. Yeah. And so like you said, you feel like you still got a lot more gas in the tank to play golf. So if you could give a timeline, how much longer in a perfect world would you want to keep going?
If I get through this and I get my game back to a point where I feel like I'm competitive in the way that I'd like to be, I'll go until that's gone. I don't see me playing professionally still at 40, but I'm willing to give a good chunk of the rest of my 30s to it if I feel like I still have my game. I feel like that's it. It's just about being competitive.
No, I love that answer. I can't wait to see the comeback. That's going to be amazing. All right. So we're going to shift gears here a little bit. You know, women's golf has actually gone through a lot of positive change, in my opinion, from the professional golf perspective with the purses, from the social perspective, women's golf as a whole, a lot more programs for younger girls, which, you know, we didn't really, we didn't get to see each other unless we played well.
Literally.
Our win was seeing one another, okay, and having a rain delay and then hanging out. So that being said, how do you feel about just the state of golf right now? There's been a lot of change since we've got into it.
I think it's incredibly promising. Like that's the word I would use for golf right now. And I think it's not just golf, it's women's sports.
Yes.
We're just in a place where I feel like the sports world and sports lovers are open right now to consuming women's sports as well. And so I think that golf has a unique opportunity to take advantage of that interest. And I think that they're doing so. But, you know, it could even increase. I look at social media for other sports organizations. I'm like, I want to see a little bit of that fun and that life come to the golf side. I love this because
I was going to ask you about this, but you're already talking about it, so I'm going to let you go with it. Yes,
I would love to see some of that life come to it. So I think what makes golf both unique and challenging in terms of marketing is that it's not a team sport.
Yes.
So you are marketing individual people who oftentimes might be shy, who oftentimes might not. It's harder to take advantage and push yourself on like social platforms. And I find this challenging for myself as well. I'd love to do more, but it's not like I'm in a locker room with my teammates and say, hey, can you hold the phone and get this for me? I go to the golf course here at home. I'm by myself. I go to the golf course on tour. I have my caddy, but we're focused. We've got a plan. So I think that the tour could do a good job of like finding players like personalities and bringing it out in different ways, whether that's getting into some of the TikTok challenges or IG Reel challenges, coming up with something on their own that's like golf specific, and then getting the players that you can to buy into it and like pushing those little clips. Because I think women's sports do best when people are connected to the players' personalities and journeys, right? Like a lot of times with men's sports, it's like if you're great, you're just great.
Right.
But I think women's sports, when I've seen them do the best, it's because people get attached to the players as a community. And so I feel like right now when women's sports is just on the rise, like that's something we could do to bring golf to the forefront.
I mean, just amen. You are speaking my language, literally goosebumps. The moment that I knew I wanted to walk away from playing professionally, like that's all I ever wanted for you guys, is like to show how amazing you all are, the grind that it takes. And like you literally pulled the words from my mouth. I'm like, LPGA, you listening? Like, we can do this. We can do this. So basically you're saying your solve is to try and just highlight those personalities, really allow the audience to fall in love with the girls so that we can make the same changes just as these other sports.
100%.
So as we know, we don't really have a LPGA commissioner at this moment.
Yeah.
And if Mariah Stackhouse was the LPGA commissioner, what is something that you do, change, add? What would you do to try and help the girls feel more supported?
I think from an on-course perspective, the tour actually does a really great job of, you know, providing like things players need. We have a player board, and I think they listen and implement that stuff faster. So I think my focus would be on growing the brand of the tour. And in order to do that, you have to grow the brand of the players, right? They are the draw. And so I think that I would actually spend a good bit of time with the media side, just coming up with a vision and saying, what can we do to make the LPGA on par with the growth of the WNBA, right? On par with the growth of the NWSL. I think that would be really cool to see. I think I'd spend a lot of time like in different markets in the US and try to tap into some new sponsor engagement. I think that's another side. We're on the rise. Let's try to get some more tournaments in different cities and the states. Like right now, Atlanta doesn't have one. Georgia's a big golf state. Atlanta is a big golf city. And we have no LPGA tournament here year in and year out. And I just think that's crazy. I've told the old commissioner, I've talked to the people on tour about this, but I'm like, literally, anytime you all are in the Atlanta market, like looking for someone, tap me in. Like if you're trying to get one of these Atlanta-based companies, I will come with you and go play with the execs who are, like, I will do whatever I can to support the cause. But yeah, I think that there are cities in the U.S. that don't have golf tournaments that could. And obviously getting sponsorship is not like cookie cutter. I'm saying that like it's easy. I know that it's not. Sure. And I know that the tour does everything they can to continue to grow and continue to provide those events. But those will be my two focuses.
Again, you just taking the words out of my mouth. I mean, Mo, you just got to be the commissioner at this, right? You're just preaching. I mean, I think all very, very tangible things.
Yes.
And I think that we are heading in that direction, which is great. But I think my only concern is like, I don't want us to miss the mark of the growth of women's sports as a whole. Like women's golf is always just a little bit behind, right? Or golf in general.
Yes.
We're always a little bit behind in trends or what's cool or what's happening. And it's like, this is not that time to be behind. Like, we need to get on this wagon now, you know?
You don't have to throw away tradition to progress. And I think golf gets so tied to like, this is how we've always done it. You can stay traditional and progress at the same time. And it has to be done.
Yeah. No, great answer. Clearly, you're really big on wanting to grow the game, not only for the other women that are playing at a professional level, but I know that you're really big about creating more accessibility, especially for the African-American community.
Yes.
And fun fact, I just learned this. So you are one of 8 African-American women to get your LPGA tour card.
Yeah.
And you're the youngest female Black woman to qualify for the U.S. Women's Open.
Yeah.
Did you know these things of yourself?
I've been tagged in these facts before. So yes.
So because I've been tagged, I know. Okay. I love that. I mean, you're breaking barriers. And like, not to say that in a cheesy way, but like legitimately, you really are making a difference. And like that being said, I've also been seeing your involvement with Underrated, which is Steph Curry's new tour. Can you tell me a little bit about the tour, your role?
Yeah. It's really just tapping in and saying, here are some athletes who have promise. And I love the term underrated, right? Because what it says is talent is there. It just needs opportunity and a platform. And so it's just tapping in across the country. I love the tour format because it's kids that might not have played, say, AJGA or local like tours and understand the process of like playing events, earning points, and then getting to championships at the end of the year. Right. So it's teaching about like what it is to be a part of a golf organization and get points and progress. And so I think it's fun to like educate the kids and the parents on like what that process looks like. And then at the championship, KPMG and I come on and they support the kids throughout the season. But then I come in specifically along with Underrated Golf Tour and KPMG and show up for the championship event and do some programming for both the parents and the kids. Because golf is like, you could do a whole couple of segments on like what it takes to get through the junior golf circuit, right? Like how our parents navigated that not knowing it themselves. Like shout out to them.
Shout out to our parents. Like we were like, how did you even know what to do? Like, okay, let's put some money down. That's a big tournament. Let's do it.
This one sounds good. Everybody says play this one. Let's do it. Right? But like it's overwhelming, the junior golf space, because there's so much out there. Where do I start? Okay. How do I get here? So we get the opportunity to connect with the parents and the kids. I talk to them a lot about golf, the mental process, affirming themselves. My dad even does a session with the parents. But then there's also programming, like a college recruiter will come in and talk about that process. Someone will talk about how you navigate like rankings and different golf tours across the country. But I think that it's just an informational session for them. We're investing in them as young golfers. We're giving them the opportunity to play premier courses all across the country and honestly giving them a platform, getting them noticed, right? Like I know a couple players based on their underrated performance at the championship have gotten college interest. So that's the goal, right? We want to get them to college and hopefully support those who are interested in going on a journey to professional golf. We want to get you to college and we want to get you to professional golf if that's what you endeavor.
No, I didn't realize that Underrated does that much.
Yes. It's truly an investment in these young golfers and they love it. They have a great time and it's wonderful to be a part of and it feels impactful. And I know that it has been, based on what we've seen from some of the juniors. So I'm grateful to be a part of it. Love that KPMG was excited to come on board as well. Like that's the beauty of having like a good sponsorship team around you is you get to bring your passions and their passions together and make a difference. And Steph always loved golf. Like I thought it was so cool when he did the Underrated Golf Tour. And it's like, Steph's still playing and at the top of his game and takes the time to do stuff for so many other people.
I was going to say, like, is he cool as a person?
Yes, he's as cool as you think he is.
Love that.
But just like truly a man of the community. Like, I love junior golf. It's just one of the favorite things that I do. Like, I love to do clinics. I love to go in and teach the kids. So whatever I can do to like support the youth and the pipeline of junior golf to professional golf, and especially to get more young Black golfers into that space as well. Like that statistic you said, it's crazy. Like, let's make that so much. Like, let's get us out there to where there's no statistic even needed, right? Sure. Like, we're just seen. So yeah, whatever I can do to support the growth of the sport. Like, I'm here for the kiddos.
You definitely are. All right, so we are already winding down, but we're going to end with a fun game.
Okay. All right.
And the game is called What's in the DMs.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to hit you with a scenario.
Okay.
And you're going to tell me if you would just heart it, like it, block it.
Okay.
Respond.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All the options.
Here we go. All right. Let's say a fan makes a TikTok montage of you and all your best shots and tag you. How would you respond? Or would you respond?
If I see it, I would definitely heart it. And
if you see it is the point.
If you see it's a huge point. Like, I miss so much stuff with IG. Like, it's terrible. Especially like my message requests. Like, sometimes I just forget to go hit them. And I need to get better.
You just gotta look. You could be sitting on money and sponsors. You never know.
You're right.
Okay.
But I would definitely heart it.
Okay.
I probably would even comment, like, depending on what it is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Tiger Woods sends good round today. That's it.
Freaking out.
Like, you better see that one. You better see that one.
No, that would be incredible. I'd probably just be like, oh my God, Tiger, thank you.
Okay, you're responding. Well, you're responding. Yes. That would be crazy work if you just hearted it.
Yes, that would be insane. We're responding to Tiger Woods.
Okay, a major golf brand says, let's collab, but you never liked their stuff.
It's going to have to be a nah for me.
So it's just a left on scene?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If I don't like it.
Fair. Okay. All right. It gets harder. All right. Okay. A golf influencer you've never met sends, hey, let's shoot content together. But she's more of like a sexy golf babe.
It depends on how much we're talking. Because I feel like, I don't care. It would just feel like what am I expected to bring to the table?
What do I need to do in this content?
I would probably just want to hear more.
Yeah.
So I would respond.
You would respond. Yeah. Okay. I like that. All right. So before I let you go, where can everybody find you?
I am Most Stacks Birdies on every single platform.
I love that. Mariah, thank you so much for joining the party.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Tish. I had a great time. Thank you for having me.